We're going to begin tonight with those benefit cuts facing leaders in the Detroit police and fire departments.
Yeah, it's a move nobody expected to happen. Our live Team 7 coverage begins tonight with 7 Action News reporter Jim Kirchner, who first broke the story on WXYZ.com today. And Jim joins us live from City Hall. Okay, Jim, so why did this happen at all, and why now?
Stephen, a spokesman for the emergency manager, says these are the same cuts other city employees have had to take. They're hitting police, fire, sergeants, and lieutenants now because their contracts expire this month. Still, when they got this letter this morning telling them of the cuts, they're devastated.
There is no morale left. I mean, they've beaten us to a pulp.
The cuts add up to almost 1/3 of their pay, with a 10% wage cut, cuts in overtime, court time, longevity pay, and others. This hits 450 police lieutenants and sergeants and another 250 in the Detroit Fire Department.
They go to work and don't know if they're going to make it home at the end of their shift. They deserved someone sitting across the table fairly negotiating an agreement.
Emergency manager Kevin Orr has said public safety is a priority while the city works through bankruptcy and the $18 billion deficit. It has been well documented police and fire equipment is broken down. The city now taking from its own employees to make improvements.
You're taking from high pay and benefits to give us equipment that we should have had anyway. We want to go out. We want to do a good job.
You're robbing them to give them their own equipment they should have.
No, that's not true at all. I mean, these are cuts that all city employees had to take.
Those facing the cuts point to this July 19th memo from the emergency manager saying employees' pay and benefits would not be cut through the end of this year.
Yeah, it looks like a lie. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
They're saying this was a lie.
No, that's not true at all. We notified all of the unions when the emergency took place that the employment terms would be enforced at the end of the contracts. That's not new.
These cuts hit next month. Carolyn, Stephen?
So obviously these employees of the city feel betrayed once again. Do they have any recourse in this, or is it just too little too late?
They really don't. That's their life under the emergency manager.
All right, Jim, thank you much for the live report. Stephen?
All right after that announcement today, firefighters who were forced to accept this imposed contract started speaking out, and they were speaking loudly. 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell continues our team coverage from Detroit's east side.
It has been so long since the Detroit Fire Department hired new firefighters that everyone has seniority. When it comes to the firefighters impacted by these just announced cuts, we're talking a minimum of 20 years serving the city of Detroit.
We're back to our wages from 1995 at this point.
Today, hundreds of Detroit fire captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and fire engine operators learned they will have to accept a 10% pay cut without bargaining. That is going to average out to a loss of between $6,000 and $8,000 a year, depending on their rank. Firefighters below them in rank already suffered such a cut last year.
We're one of the lowest paid across the country for major municipalities.
Plus, the firefighters union says the emergency manager this month implemented city employment terms, which amount to a contract that firefighters say they did not get a chance to negotiate. Firefighters say they are not staying on the job for the money, but for Detroiters.
These people are tough. They put up with more stuff than anybody around the country does. It's unbelievable what they put up with on a daily basis. So we're here for them.
Detroit firefighters say they can only hope that now that the city has filed for bankruptcy, it's on a path that will eventually lead to better finances and hopefully a raise for them. In Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Okay, here's how it all breaks down right now for these imposed wage and benefit cuts. The move affects 400 police sergeants, lieutenants, and investigators, along with hundreds of fire lieutenants, sergeants, and captains. The terms include 10% pay cuts, cuts in overtime, court time, and longevity pay. And this all goes into effect August 6th. You can read more about these cuts and what's coming up next on Friday's federal bankruptcy hearing on the homepage of our website, WXYZ.com.